Hello! This video will walk you through using the 2015 Web Scouting app. Now that you're logged in, let's begin. First, select the option under Scouting, Scout a Match. You should now see the pre-match screen. Enter the team number for the robot you're scouting. Remember, this is the team number you'll be watching all match. This may or may not be your own robot. Make sure you aren't scouting the same robot as another scout. Next, enter the current match number, let's say 3, for the third match. Then, select the robot's alliance color, either red or blue. Make sure the correct competition location appears below. It was entered when you logged in, so if the location is wrong, you'll have to log out and re-log in with the right location. You can use the Return Home button to go back to the previous screen. When finished, move on to Autonomous. You'll now see the screen change to a map of your side of the field, labeled Autonomous Start. Select the starting location of your robot by clicking that spot on the map. Confirm the location with OK. This will take you to the main Autonomous scoring screen. This menu has 2 columns of green buttons, describing actions the robot can do. The columns are sorted by what game piece they refer to, respectively, totes and containers. Every time a robot does an action, select the corresponding green button. This adds 1 to the count of that particular action. For example, if a robot were to move a yellow tote into the auto zone, select Yellow Tote in Zone. If they move multiple totes, you can select the Yellow Tote in Zone button multiple times. If you make a mistake, use minus to subtract from the count. As for the rest of these options, Stacked Yellow counts yellow totes stacked in the auto zone. Acquired Gray counts collected gray totes. Under Container Actions, Acquired from Step counts containers off the step from the center of the field. If the robot you're scouting is able to control the containers placed on the ground, select Acquired from Ground. Move to Zone counts containers moved into the auto zone. Below the Containers column is a switch for if the robot ended in auto zone. Switch this to On if the robot is in the auto zone when Autonomous ends. Leave it at Off if not. The bottom row of the Autonomous screen has 3 buttons. The first, Pre-match, can be used to return 2 screens back in case you need to change your team or match number. If you select Fouls and Others, it brings you to a menu with 3 options. Select Fouls if the robot makes a foul, like contacting the other alliance. You'll have the chance to explain on these fouls at the end of the match. Select Interference if your robot's auto routine was affected by another robot, or if your robot affects another. No auto means that your robot doesn't move during the auto period, thus no Autonomous. Selecting one sends you back to the main Autonomous menu. When you're finished scouting Autonomous, select Teleoperated to continue. You should now see the main Teleoperated screen. This screen looks similar to Autonomous, but with less buttons per column and the addition of litter-related actions. Now that the game has entered Teleop mode, you want to select buttons to count actions, same as Autonomous. I'll explain how to count actions in Teleop. Let's say your robot collects a tote. Select Picked Up under Totes. This leads you to a screen of 4 options: Ground Upright, Side, Human Station, and Upside Down. Select how the tote was acquired. For instance, Human Station means receiving the tote from a human player, and Side means the tote was knocked on its side when it was picked up. Selecting an option brings you back to the Teleop screen. Under the actions, it'll show how many totes the robot should have in its possession. Currently 1. Like an autonomous, you can count multiple totes by selecting Picked Up repeatedly. I'm going to be picking up a couple more here. Like before, you can subtract counts with the minus button. Now, when the robot you're scouting places totes on the scoring platform, select the next button under Stacked. This brings you to a menu with 2 rows of numbers. If a robot is placing a stack directly on the platform, select New Stack from the first row. In the second row, select how many totes the robot is placing. This number will automatically be set to the number of totes in possession. If the robot stacks less totes than what it's carrying, choose a lower number. If the robot is adding to an existing stack, choose the height of the pre-existing stack from the first row. For example, a stack of 2 totes already exists, so we place on top of it. If this stack is a cooperation stack, done with yellow totes on the step, hit the switch at the bottom to On. But for generic stacks, leave it at Off. If this stack is a cooperation stack, done with yellow totes on the step, hit the switch at the bottom to On. But for generic stacks, leave it at Off. Select Continue when you've chosen your numbers to lead you to another map of your half of the field. Select the location where this stack was placed, and then confirm it with OK. Container actions work similarly to totes. When the robot grabs a container, select Picked Up from under Containers to go to a menu with 3 options: Side, Upright, and Center Step. Choose how it was grabbed, such as in the center of the field, off the step, or laying on its side. Selecting any one brings you back to the main teleop screen. To stack the picked up container, select Stacked under Containers to bring you to a menu with a single bar of numbers. You want to choose the height of the tote stack the container is placed on top of. Select Continue to go back to the teleop menu. Litter actions are simple, but I'll go over them quickly. Pushed means that a robot pushed litter into the landfill. And in container means that a litter piece got into a container somehow, whether that was with human help or through the robot only. Below Totes in Possession, there are 3 buttons, similar to an auto. Autonomous leads one screen back. Fouls and Others works similarly to an auto, leading to another menu, this one with 4 options. Fouls stays the same, but the other options are different. Deadbot means a robot has stopped moving altogether, regardless of cause. Fatal Jam means that a robot has lost scoring capabilities, but is still able to move. Knocked Over Stack means that a robot caused a stack to fall over. Any selection brings you back to the main teleop screen. Once the match has ended and you've recorded everything, select End Match to continue. In End Match, you arrive at a screen with 3 text boxes, one on fouls, one that's private, and one that's public. You want to leave comments on qualitative data. Now is the time to clarify any noted fouls, like if they intentionally damaged equipment. Leave this box empty if you recorded no fouls. Take a second to leave some commentary on the robot in either or both of the comment boxes. The top box is private for your team, so you can be a little more honest here, and the bottom box is public, so don't be a jerk. You also have the option to go back a screen by selecting Teleoperated. Once you've written what you wanted, select Finish Scouting to continue. This takes you to the Finish Scouting menu. You now have the red option to discard your data and the green option to submit your data. If you want to discard your data, select Discard, Confirm, then enter the team number of the robot you were scouting. However, to make your data accessible to your team, you want to submit it to the database. Once you've successfully discarded or submitted your data, you'll be led to a menu with the options Scout Another Match and Return Home. Return Home brings you back to the home screen, and Scout Another Match heads back to the pre-match screen, ready for another match. Thank you for listening.